Hello everyone. So this is Facebook Live number 8, which is by this time I should be really comfortable, but I'm still getting there. Today I want to talk about how to handle rejections and failures. First of all, I think all of us would have a fair share of both of them by now. If you don't agree with it, then it proves one of the 2 points. One is you've not tried anything really substantial, or you are lying, or both. So I don't think it is the case, and all of us have gone through it. So I have gone through a fair share of both of them, and I'll start my own story of 100 plus rejection. This happened very early in my life, right? So basically, I was when I was about 4 years old, I fell in love with reading all sorts of things, and so much that I would just read anything from any magazine, newspaper, anything that comes to my way, I would read it. By the time I was 10 years old, I must have read close to 700 books. But before you think of anything awesome, but if you ask my mom, she will tell you that most of them are useless books. I would just be fascinated with mysteries, thrillers, fantasies, all those things. So when I was about close to around 9 years old, I would just play a game with myself that I know exactly how this story will end. Where is the treasure? Who is the killer? Who gets caught? And all those things. But unfortunately, I was not good at it, or something like that. So I would always fail, and I would get irritated that how can this story end like this? This guy should have been the culprit, and this guy should have been the victim. The treasure should have been there, and nothing of those would work. So I would just get really frustrated. And when I was at that age, I thought if I write my own novel, then I think I can decide what I want to do, right? So over the next 8 months, I wrote a 200-page novel. And then I thought, okay, I have the book now. We used to live in a place called Coorg in southern India. So I said, how many people will write a book at this age? So when I just talked to a publisher, they will put a red carpet welcome for me. So everything will be good. So I thought I'll just get it published, and my book will be in all the bookstores, and I will be a celebrity. Little did I know that this was not going to be the case. So I used to collect what we call pocket money, and there was a grocery store at the end of our street. There was a phone booth, and I would somehow find the number of the publisher, and I would make a call. And as soon as I called, you know what would have happened? The publisher or somebody on the other side will bang the phone down. Then I thought, oh, maybe they are in a bad mood, so I'll just make another call. And then until the person said, "Don't call me again," I would keep calling. So very soon I realized that my dream story is not coming through. I was getting rejected faster than I was pitching. So I don't know which one was happening first, pitching or rejecting. So very soon I hit a century of the wrong side. That means I was rejected more than about 100 times. By this time, I was almost numb to the rejection because I realized that this is not going to be easy. So I made up my own story. Maybe everybody gets rejected for 200 times. I'm halfway there. I'll just pitch so much more, and then I'll get rejected fast. And somehow, somewhere, I'll get lucky. So it's about 3.5 years, I had a breakthrough. Um, I still remember that time, exactly that time when I was in front of a publisher. I had somehow got connected to him, and I had my manuscript. And person said, "Oh, you are Rajesh. I remember you. We had exchanged some physical emails because at that time there was no email or anything. I remember you. Let me read your book." And then I took my book. It was actually not a book. It was like a file folder with a lot of white sheets where my manuscript was there. And he turned around and he started looking at the book. And I thought, I didn't know whether I should leave or stay. And after some time, he forgot about me. So I just stood there. I was 13 years old, so I didn't know what was the protocol and everything. I just stood there, and in about 2.5 hours, he turned around and he said, "Oh, you're still here." I said, "Yes, but you didn't ask me to leave." So he did like this and said, "I forgot about it. Sorry. I like your book. How much do you want?" That was the first time somebody had asked me this question. Now, by that time, I was rejected 160 times. So I was very used to people saying no. And then by this time, I was like not even worried. So I said, "Okay, next." But this time, when he asked a question, "How much do you want?" I almost got a shock. And I had to come up with a number. And with my limited brain, I said 100 rupees, which for now it will be $1.40. I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I want 100 rupees." And he said, "Okay." And he took his wallet and he gave me 100 rupees. And I had got the deal and I was going to be an author. And in 3 months from then, I got it published. And I was like the youngest author of Karnataka state in India. So there is a lot of lessons there for me. The good news is it happened very early in my life. So I actually didn't know what rejection meant because I didn't lose a job and there was no problem for food in my. I was just being taken care of by parents. So obviously, I don't know whether I would have really been able to handle that many rejections at this age, where I am. So whatever be the case, because of that experience, rejections do not hurt me much anymore because I was like, when people ask me, what have you studied? I say, I have an engineering degree and a PhD in how to get rejected. So people laugh at it. And when they hear the story, they said, "Wow, you do have a PhD in how to get rejected." So I'm not suggesting in any way that anybody should get rejected that many times, but it's an exception, not a rule. So there are other ways to handle a rejection. So also remember the story where it shows that rejection may be just a stop sign. Uh, it's not like a end, but just like the red light turns green soon, it may be a temporary thing. For those of you who are from India, you know A.R. Rahman, who is a famous music director. And some of you here may have seen the movie The Slumdog Millionaire. It was in the end there is a song called Jai Ho, and that song got an Oscar award. So, but many people may not know the story behind that song. There is a when he first wrote and created music for the song, it was to be pitched to a Hindi movie by a famous director called Subhash Ghai. I believe the song got rejected because he said it's not good enough, right? And it's it's amazing that A.R. Rahman was rejected because he's such an amazing person. A.R. Rahman said, "Okay, let me try something else." And years later, this is what happened. Danny Boyle was looking for an ending song for Slumdog Millionaire, and this song got picked up and it became the Oscar. Now, interestingly, one can say, see, if you get rejected by Subhash Ghai, somehow you'll get featured by Danny Boyle. That's not going to happen. So you have to be very careful. Rejection should be a stop sign. And if it were true, every song that was rejected by Subhash Ghai should end up in something like Oscars. That's not going to happen. So you have to be careful on both sides. You have to treat it as a stop sign, and also you should not be in the la la land that whenever somebody rejects, there is going to be greatness very, very soon. That's not going to happen. That may not be happening. So these all may be exceptions. And the way I think about it is there are various flavors of no, right? So if you think about it, a no may be something as simple as no, not right now. So not right now should not be treated as a no. It's just not right now, right? So that's maybe one. Or no, no, maybe no, not in this form and price. So it may be important for them, but it may not be right for that price. or it may be it's good, but while the price is right, everything, but there are change management issues that come up in our organization. So we don't have the budget for the change management for now. So it's not for me, kind of thing. Or it may be that um, I won't buy it from you. It's not a no, but it's a no from you. So which means that you have to work on your it's like a social, like a validation. That means your personal brand, or it may be the relationship strength with the person. So that way you have to work on it. The product may have no problems, but you may have problems. You have to just live up to it and then do something about it. Or it may be that no, because it does not work very well with the existing ecosystem, because you may have done something in some kind of a system and it just does not match with the existing system. So you might want to, there may be not support for certain kind of operating system, certain kind of other things that they already have. So that may be, there may be so many times, so many flavors. So you have to decide what kind of a no it is before you take the next step of action. And from personal experience, I also learned that I should know when to quit. During my first company in 2000, I still remember I would not give up on anything. So I was pitching a system for a bookstore in somewhere in Mountain View, and it was, if I think back, it was a lame exercise, because even if they had said yes, the amount of money they would have given was like $50,000 or something. But because I love books, and I thought this company has no dynamic website, I think I should pitch to them. I became friends with the owner. His name is Skip. I won't tell full name because it's not relevant. So he would just engage with me, and we would talk about everything under that, about books, and because I had written so many books, so he was very interested. So because he was interested in me, I thought he's interested in the software that I was pitching. So whenever I was in Mountain View, we would have coffee and everything. And then it was about 18 months. And one day I took the courage and asked him, Skip, we have been meeting and we have become friends. Is there under any circumstances you would buy this software? And Skip said, "Oh, hell no, definitely not. Under no circumstances, because we don't need it." I said, "Wow, this is very interesting. Then why do you keep entertaining these conversations? Because whenever I come here, you are always curious." He said, "Raj, you always tell great stories. I'm very curious to know what's new with you. So I learn everything, and then we talk about 5 to 10 minutes about the software. I just don't want to uh, say anything bad to you, because you come with so much of enthusiasm. I just feel like listening to you, and I learn a lot." So I said, "This is crazy." So, and then I went back to the office and looked at all the other crazy stuff I was doing, because I didn't want to give up. So, what happened was that all these wild goose chases I was doing was creating an opportunity cost, right? So, basically, all the time I was spending in deals that will never close, it was taking up from time from things that I should have been chasing, because I have only 24 hours in a day. So we all should know when to quit. Some of them. There's a nice book called Necessary Endings. I don't remember the exact author's name, and it's important to know some of them should end. There is no other way. They should not continue, and we should be okay with it, right? And next, I want to talk about capacity, right? I already told you everybody needs to have some power. In philosophical terms, power means capacity to get things done. Nobody individually will have all the capacity to get things done, especially if somebody is going after something way bigger than what they can handle, which means you will make requests from other people, because you need to borrow capacity to go after a cause that is bigger than what you can handle. So this is where so many people make mistakes. I call it the forgotten art of asking right. And there is some ill-placed advice, contextually wrong sometimes. This advice is, if you don't ask, you will never get. But it may be right, but if you ask wrongly, you may uh, you may just get into their mental blacklist, because you should ask only when you deserve something. You should never ask something that you don't deserve, and you should never demand that you don't deserve, because when you do that, you are not very thoughtful, and the person who gets that request, especially if it's a high stakes request, they will make a mental note of it and say that this guy is not thoughtful. I should be careful whenever I get a request from him. Maybe it's not thoughtful and it's a waste of my time. So you just almost make your chances low, even in the future request of anyway getting a good response from them. So I see that there are four stages to any kind of a high stakes request. The first stage is when you get to know someone, it's called the zone one, it's the red zone. You just got acquainted to the person and you make a high stakes request. You will see that in LinkedIn requests. So when people come and just connect with you, immediately they will follow up with a long list of, it's like a brochure and summary, and they almost feel that they walk into your home and say, I want to give a presentation. Are you guys ready? And are you ready for a half an hour monologue so that you can listen to me and you want to buy something from our company? So that's the way, that's the wrong way. It shows almost desperation, and it almost feels like people are waiting to be sold to them. Nobody wants to be sold, everybody wants to buy. So the acquaintance is the wrong time to pitch anything, because you don't know them and they don't know you. You just got connected. The social media makes it easy to connect. That does not mean that it's easy to build a relationship. The connection part is easy. The relationship still takes time. You can never rush through a long-term relationship, because it's just physics, right? Because if you want to build a long-term relationship, it takes a long time, unless you know some shortcuts where you can add extremely high value to them, so you can cut short some of the time, but it still takes time, right? So the second zone is the zone of identity. That means you are building identity in the social space, in the external world, and also building an identity in your world. That means yours and the person you are building a relationship with, they start knowing you. You are no longer a number for them, you are a name also. That means when somebody mentions your name, they don't say, who is this person, right? So that's the second phase, where you are building an identity, right? So you have to wait for this, and at this time, when you make a request, it still has a very low chance of getting fulfilled, because you're not the depth is not there yet, right? So you still have to go to the next stage, but at this time, the other person will be open to receiving your help. That's the key. So you got an opportunity, because especially if the person is way higher than you, they may not even be open to receiving your help, because they have so many people who are offering them help because of what they can give back to the person who is offering help. So when you build an identity, they may be open to receiving your help. That means you can create some relationship equity, or I can call it the karma account, or emotional bank balance. There are many words people have used for this. So that's the thing to remember. When you do a favor to them, when you are being a positive possibility in the future they are creating for themselves, you almost create a future obligation of some kind, because they say, this person is helping me. So when a time comes, I may be wanting to help him back or help her back, kind of thing. So that leads to the next phase, which is alignment, right? When the alignment means there is some degree of commonality, where if they help you, they're also helping themselves, or if they help you, they know that some help will come back. If they help you, or if they get connected with you, their brand will not get tarnished, or they will still be okay. And then the best would be that there is some alignment where they help you, But overall, there is something else big that will happen, where there is something big will come back to them. It's, I call it the hunger alignment, where they're helping you. It's helping. Their help is, you are getting something out of it, but they're also getting something back. For example, you have a podcast, and you are growing your podcast, and you invite them to your podcast, and they come and give an amazing interview. You get a benefit because there is a power in association with some really big name, but they also get the benefit because you have prepared so well that you bring the best out of them. So that's like the hunger alignment, and all the effort that you put into prepare and everything, it will pay back in spades, because if the podcast episode goes viral, or it reaches places, the power of association will be huge for you. And for them, they learn something about themselves, because you ask such thoughtful questions that they started reflecting back on things. And probably when they write a book, they will remember it. So many things to go there. And the last one zone is the timing. The timing is very important, because anytime you are dealing with an influencer or somebody big, so they have multiple requests at the same time for their time. So you have to be thoughtful and see what is the time when this request is a no-brainer for these people. So if you don't think of it, it will get rejected for wrong reasons. They just don't have time. And once they reject something, it's easy for them to reject again. Again, I have to tell you an experience. So I won't tell the name of the person. So he's a really big name author, and since my last 5 books, I have got a rejection for an endorsement from this person. And he was always very nice. I really want to do it, Raj, but I don't have the time now. Then I have common friends, and this time in the next book that is getting published, he gave a beautiful endorsement. What did I do differently? Is I just asked some people that I already know, who are common connections to this person, and I realized that there is only one period in time where he reads books like people like me, and that's the only time where he endorses books. So it's odd thing, but now I learned this is his preference. So this time when I sent the book, I exactly sent it, but I also sent through a friend that we have a common connection with. So this time, within 2 days, I got an endorsement, and it's brilliant. I'm super excited about it. But if the timing was not right, this sixth time also he would have rejected, and probably next 10 times also he would have rejected, because the timing was very important for him. Something to think about. And the last point I want to share is a blind spot, which is, you should never confuse what is supposed to be a wake-up call to be a stepping stone. When you fail, sometimes it will be because of lack of preparation or lack of work on your side. And you can easily justify and say, see, failure is a stepping stone. And then you continue to attempt with the same level of preparation, then you will fail again. And you will, that's a wake-up call. But now if you treat that failure as a stepping stone, you will continue to go ill prepared, and it'll never work when your preparation is less. So that's why we all need mentors, because when you have a mentor, they will stop you from giving to this blind spot problem. So they will say, no, how did you prepare? What did you do? And then you cannot get away saying that this was the level of preparation you did. And they will say, of course you will fail, because that's not preparation good enough, right? So this blind spot is what I see many people, and they quickly say, okay, this is just a stepping stone, I have to try again, when in fact they have to try again for sure, but they have to go back to their drawing board and prepare really well before making a next attempt. So hopefully these things were useful, and this have a great weekend, and until next time, we'll come back with something new. Have a great time.